morning. I have the pleasure to introduce this webinar that WH has co-organized with Chevron consultants, and that will be directed by our friends at Sigma. The scope of this webinar is to introduce the industry to the upcoming license tender that will be called in Italy in a few months' time, in a couple of months' time. Actually, it has already been called, but the filing deadline is due to end on the 30th of May this year. And it's the tender that will award a new batch of online gaming licenses. The way we are going to cover this broad topic is in segments. So after a few introductory remarks that I will be sharing, I will ask my colleagues at WH, Maria Letizia Mancini, Valentina Ruth, Valentina Ladislao, and Donna Bugelli at the Malta office to address specific aspects of the license tender rules, focusing on the administrative regulations. And then our partners, Chevron consultants, will address the technical compliance bit, together with Marco Gatti, who is also an expert of technical compliance. So it's going to be a very interesting discussion. And without further ado, I will now drive you into the Italian online gaming world with a few general sketches. To do that, I will share the screen. I would say I would start from a very hard number, which is 11.5, approximately 0.5 billion euros, which is the overall size of the Italian gaming market. This is the Italian gaming market, so it includes also the retail figures, the scratch cards, lotteries, everything else. But this is just to give you an idea of how big this market is. These figures position the Italian gaming market definitely in the top three of the European markets. Possibly it's even higher in that top three ranking. Depends on how you look at figures. If you combine those figures, which are only the official numbers, those associated with licensed operators, to the unofficial ones, which relate to some, parallel offers that are coming, that are East Italy facing, but they are not holding an Italian license, and therefore, as such, they are not trackable. So it's a big market. It's a very crowded one, and it is also, as you will hear later on, it's a very challenging one, regulations-wise. It's a highly regulated market. It was notably the first market to be regulated, particularly with respect to online gambling. It was the first market to be consistently and comprehensively regulated some in 2006, so it's almost 20 years ago. So I would say, having positioned Italy as one of the top European markets, the next picture that I would like to offer is that of what is it that entails online gambling in Italy. Basically everything. All games, as you can see from this little slide, all games are regulated, and so you have sportsbook, you have casino games, you have slots, you have lottery games, you have bingo, you have card games, poker, everything is there. virtual games, betting exchange. So it's a very wide range of gaming products that are available to the market. But as I said, it's also a very challenging one when it comes to regulations. Why is it so? Well, first, I would say that one particular peculiar feature of the Italian gambling market is that only B2C operators require to carry a gambling license, whereas B2B providers do not require a license. Of course, if a provider wants to offer their games, their software, their products to the Italian market, they will still need to comply with technical regulations and with the standards that are provided by the Italian regulatory agency. And by the way, before you get confused about this continuous reference to ADM that you will also hear from my colleagues later on, ADM stands for Agenzia dei Monopoli, which is the state monopoly governmental agency in charge of regulating gambling, real money gambling only. So any products, any gaming products to be offered to the Italian market will require to be certified, vetted, certified and approved by ADM according to their own technical standards. That's the only bit of Italian regulations that affect a B2B provider. Going back to the main point, only the operators require a license. Customer-facing operators require an Italian online gaming license. And obviously, we will extensively address this in the following segments of this presentation. I already touched on the very wide menu of games that are available in Italy. I would say that at the moment, there is basically all games are accessible, available, and enjoyable by Italian players. I will now touch briefly on the peculiarity of the Italian online gaming architecture, which is, I would say, the most challenging part of the whole licensing process. Why is it so? Because under ADM rules, the operator's servers must be fully interfaced with the central control system run by the regulator. And this means that at any given time, there is a full interaction and interconnection between the operator's servers on the one hand, the market, which is the players on the other hand, and the central control system in the middle. So you have to look at this as a triangle which is connected, completely connected, 24/7, 375. And how do you make sure that this interfacing works seamlessly and with no solution of continuity in a very unplugged way? You can do that by making sure that the servers of the operator run a number of codes, so-called the communication protocols, and you will hear more about it from Marco Gatti in the final segment of this webinar. These communication protocols enable this continuous dialogue between the servers, the market, and the central control system, so that every single bit of a gaming-related transaction gets recorded, that gets validated, gets caught by the central control system, which is also the regulator's database, for all purposes, from validating the player info that is entered at the time of registration, to validating a bet, taxing the transaction, and everything else. So when we talk about the Italian online gaming system, you have to bear in mind that the regulator is in the house at any given time. They will be able to control, monitor, verify what happens on your servers via this interconnection. And of course, the biggest challenge that every newcomer to the Italian market faces is that of setting up an infrastructure that is completely interfaced with the central control system, and the adoption of those communication protocols is, I would say, a little bit of a headache for the technical teams, because it's about having to onboard lots of codes, lots of procedures that are very peculiar of the Italian online gaming architecture, which is one of its own. But the downside of this, I would say on the flip side, this also ensures a very trackable, a very monitorable, a very safe way of going about online gaming in Italy. So I think this is basically what I wanted to say prior to handing over to Maria Letizia, who will guide you through the certain specific, or I would say the most relevant aspects of the license tender with respect to the administrative rules. And maybe we will have a chance to share a few final remarks at the end of this webinar, when all my colleagues will have had a chance to present to you the specific topics that we are going to cover. So, Letizia, please take over, and good luck.
Thanks, Quirino. Good morning, everybody. As already anticipated by Quirino, this webinar session is focused on the ADM license tender, namely which are the need-to-know information to tackle the licensing process. So we will discuss on the main requirements needed for filing application, the timeline of the procedure, and finally we will have a look into the documentation, included the reports and the regulatory policies that must be submitted. So let's start with providing you with general information concerning the tender procedure. The call for the tender for the granting of new gaming licenses launched by ADM was published last December 18, 2024. Tender process, if everything goes smoothly, will take 9 months from the date of tender's publication. No cap number of licensees is provided in tender rules, as well as each applicant can apply for up to 5 licenses. Licenses validity period is 9 years. Now, let's move to see which are the main requirements needed for filing an application. Applicant will needs to comply with certain professional, economical, and financial, technical, and operational standards and regulatory policies. First of all, professional requirement. Registration in a professional or commercial register. Legal or operational headquarters must be located in one of the states of the European Economic Area, and legal representative, as well as all managers holding powers of representation, administration, management, and control must be fit and proper in terms of having a clear criminal record and not being otherwise restricted from being contractor of a governmental agency like ADM is. Economical requirements. Applicant needs to prove its previous experience performed in the licensing gaming business field, included remote gaming, performed in one of the states of the European Economic Area. Total revenues must exceeding 3 million euros over the last 2 fiscal years, and must prove its sound financial situation. With reference to the last requirement, which is the technical requirements, the applicant will, a technical report must be submitted in order to prove the ability to comply with the performance, functions, and technical requirements as set out in the technical rules and administrative rules. On the technical and regulatory requirements over this topic, my colleague in the next technical compliance session will discuss more details. So I will be very quickly, just a quick information concerning the reports that must be inserted in the technical report, namely welfare report and gender report. Then a responsible gaming policy must be additionally submitted, in which basically the company must prove which are the main and the measures that will be adopted in favor of vulnerable players to prevent them from gambling addiction. And finally, the applicant company needs to prove the possession of specific UNI certification issued by authorized bodies. Now we can enter into the heart of the procedure, and I have prepared a slide in which have been highlighted the 5 steps of the procedure, so that you can follow me in the discussion better way during my discussion. First of all, the first step is the filing application. Filing application, which windows is between 31 March and 30 May, no later than 5 o'clock p.m. This is so-called the filing deadline. It's very important in this cutoff date because all the operation that must be performed at this stage must be carried out online through Consip portal. The Consip portal will be on the Consip portal. My colleague Valentina in the next session will give you all the keys to enter into the magic world of the Consip portal. So basically, administrative, technical, and economical envelopes must be uploaded on this on the Consip portal. The second step is the ADM scrutiny process that starts within 15 days from the filing deadline. The scrutiny process will focus on the content of the free virtual envelopes that have been submitted online. So envelope, administrative envelope, technical envelope, and economical envelope. Once the ADM scrutiny is completed, ADM will publish, and we get arrived on the third step of the procedure. ADM will publish on its portal a list of licensees which have successfully passed the scrutiny. And so, even though I'm using the terms award and licensee list, basically at this moment, the applicant company is still not yet holder of the Italian license. In fact, another step must be accomplished. And namely, not before 45 days and not after 60 days from the publication of the licensee list, additional documentation must be provided, this time directly to ADM. And only after the second check of these documents will be issued by the ADM license agreement. And that's exactly the date in which, once digitally signed by both parties, the license starts to run. The last definitive step is the go live, which occur 6 months from the date of the signature of the execution of the IDM license agreement. So I believe that it's more clear, and we can move forward to see which are the documents, the certification, the reports, the proof of payments that must be inserted into the virtual free envelopes. We have the first envelope is the administrative envelope, in which must be inserted a certain documentation, certification, proof of payments, so that I have guide you during in this process, but explaining which are the main requirements. But the list is so long, so you must reference exclusively to the ADM rules, in which we can see all the documents as listed. Just a quick information concerning, for example, to the response DGUA, which is a model that must be downloaded by the Consip portal. All the information needed but must be inserted in, and then upload, once digitally signed, must be uploaded again on the portal. The proof of payment of Annex fee. Annex is the Italian anti-corruption authority, and just general statements or certification concerning that must prove the position of power of signature and eligibility criteria of the managers. One of the most important documents on which I will discuss in this session is the guarantee. The guarantee, we have basically two different guarantees. The first one, the temporary guarantee, is due to be in place upon application filing. The second one, the definitive guarantee, it's due to be in place upon license grant. They must be issued in the same way, so basically, or in the form of a cash deposit care by Bank of Italy or short bond, or alternatively must be issued by a primary bank or insurance company or another duly authorized financial intermediary. The draft must be digitally signed and digitally verifiable through the indication of the website or dedicated certificate email address. The difference between the two guarantees are respect the validity period, the amount, and the purposes. Validity period with respect to temporary guarantee is 1 year. In fact, must cover all the obligation undertaken by the applicant company for all the procedure from the filing application until the execution of the ADM license agreement. The validity period so is 1 year. The amount is 750,000 euros. As to verify which are instead the characteristic of the definitive guarantee, the amount is 3,007,000 for 2025. In fact, the amount is subject to annual adjustment by the 31 March of each subsequent year. Validity period is 9 years. In fact, covers all the validity of the license, but ADM may enforce within 5 years of its natural expiry date. The proposal is so different, in fact, cover all the obligations that are concerning the entire license. In fact, covers the prompt and full payment of the gaming taxes due to ADM as the performance of and compliance with all terms and conditions of the license. In the economical offer, envelope must be inserted the technical report that must be signed by independent authority, and as we told before, is concerning the technical infrastructure and capabilities as required in the technical rules. Pay attention that this document, so the technical report, is subject to a score-based review. Additionally, is inserted in this envelope the responsible gaming policy, and, if applicable, a declaration concerning any industrial secrets or technical or commercial nature. The last envelope will contain the economical offer. Basically, it's a template in which the applicant company undertake the obligation of payment of the one-off license fee, which amount is 7 million euro. It's payable in two different chunks, respectively due as follows. 4 million, the first chunk, is upon license award, and 3 million before go live. So, as I told before, at the stage before the signature of the execution of the license, ADM license agreement, which is the actual license, further additional documentation must be submitted directly to ADM. The most important we have already talked about, because are the final guarantee and the proof of payment to ADM of the first chunk of the license fee of the amount of 4 million euros. Pay attention that at all the documentation that should be provided with ADM in original language must be duly translated, notarized, and apostiled. Just for summary, subject positive scrutiny of all the documentation to be filed post-license award, and after the execution of the ADM license agreement, finally, the applicant company is holder of the Italian online gaming license. And the last requirement needed and requested by ADM is the go live, which occur 6 months after the date of the signature of the ADM license agreement. And I think that's all from my side. And now I hold to Valentina so that she can guide you into the magic world of the Consip portal. Thank you so much.
Many thanks, Maria Letizia. So in this section of the webinar, I will try to put in the shoes of the legal representative or attorney of a public operator aiming at running a tender in Italy, and try to give you some tips to easily handle the Consip portal and file an application. Of course, it will be much more focused on the online gaming license, but I want to be sure you understand this works for any tender in Italy. I prepared some slides that I'm sharing with you. The main news of this online gaming license tender is that it's run through the Consip portal. But let's spend a few words about the Consip role and function. Consip is an administrative national central entity fully owned by the Ministry of Economics and Finance, and offers e-procurement solutions for administration purchases through tenders and digital marketplaces. It is currently the Italian entity deputed to digitally handle and run all procurements called by any governmental agencies, including, of course, ADM. Please bear in mind that the application of online gaming licenses must be mandatorily be lodged and processed through the Consip portal through the license granted by ADM. However, the upcoming stages, so from the award on, will be directly handled by ADM. So the Consip portal is useful only for the first filing stage. Before we get into the filing procedure, I want you to make sure you have the required IT equipment because it is necessary, of course, to get and to navigate inside the portal. So before doing anything else, you have to be sure you have with you a personal computer connected to the internet and equipped with a compatible browser such as Explorer 10, Mozilla Firefox 10, or higher, of course, Google Chrome, this version, or an higher one. Then you will have to have a software for converting the templates to be downloaded from the portal, a certified electronic mailbox for the purpose of the certainty of date and domiciliation, and a digital signature. Here in the image are reported some of the most common devices that are used for the purpose, which can be obtained only upon request to duly authorized service providers in Italy. For the purpose of obtaining a certified electronic mailbox, so considering I'm very, very good today, I will provide you with some information concerning the Italian fiscal code. Okay, don't get mad. The Italian fiscal code does not trigger any Italian liability, being an equivalent, let's say, US-style social security number, which is required to carry out any deals with Italian public offices or for consummating transaction in Italy, or, for example, becoming the legal representative of an Italian entity. It can be issued alternatively by the Italian Revenue Agency or further national local authorities such as Questure or Sportelli Unici per l'Immigrazione, or by Italian consular authorities if you are abroad. The request may be made alternatively in person or delegated to third parties professionals, such as, for example, we, of course, provide also this kind of services. And you will need to provide a copy of valid national passport or an ID card with your current residency address. Issuance timing depends on the workloads of the offices, but approximately they are about 5 to 15 working days. Okay, now you made sure you have all the IT tools. You can start registering in the Consip portal. I want to make sure you understand that registration is not the same as the filing the application. Registration is a pre-phase that allows you access to Consip portal. It can be made every time by clicking, typing this web address to the browser at any time, of course. And the registration allows you access to the portal and visibility to all the information contained therein. So all information concerning any tender open or called in Italy at any time. Whereas the filing application through the Consip portal concerns the submissions of the requirement information and documents to apply for a specific tender. For online gaming license tender, the time window when it will be possible to start filing the application is 31st March to 30 May. Of course, the time is also very, very important. The registration methods inside the Consip portal are 3 and differ according to the nationality of the applicant. So I will go through all of them, starting from the one dedicated to Italians. So Italians, but I will spend very few words about it because most of you will be reasonably foreigners. So if you are Italian, you can access directly through SPID, electronic identity card, or national service card. I'm sure Italians are pretty familiar with these devices, so I will straight away move on to the explanation of the second method. If if you are a citizen of any of these countries, which flag is reported here, you are considered as being an EIDAS state national citizen. So just a few words concerning EIDAS. EIDAS regulation is aims at promoting the cross-border cooperation among national electronic identification system and administrations. So within European Union, there are these measures have been implemented, of course, not from all European Union countries, but only currently from these ones. So if you are a citizen of one of these countries, you will choose the relevant flag. For example, if you are French, you will flag here. You will insert your personal information, and then through your electronic ID card, you will register inside the Consip portal. The third and last method is residual, and of course dedicated to all the people that aim at registering but do not fall into the two previous cases. So in such a scenario, you will click sign up here, and you will have to provide your personal information, declare, for example, the acceptance of the terms of use. I recapped here in the slide the most important, let's say, declaration or consents to be provided. You will declare that you are not Italian, an Italian resident, that you are not living within the EIDAS countries. And you will send this document to verificautentiessere@consip.it via email. Within 24 hours from the receipt of the email, one administrator of the system will arrange a short video conference with you, being the applicant, I mean. And you have to attend in person for purposes of verifying that the passport information matches with the one provided in the pre-registration, let's say. So be sure you have your passport with you. If everything is okay, you will receive the credential for the further stages. So now that you have validly registered inside the Consip portal, we can start going through the process to file your application. So you will navigate to Questi Rete PA, which is the dedicated website, and here you have the logos of both Consip and the Italian Ministry of Economics and Finance. You will click Vendi. Then you will click in this pop-up Altri bandi, and all the short list of opened or called public tenders will appear. In this mask, you will see the number of the tender, the name, the awarding authority, the activation date and expiration date. You will click here inside in the name of the relevant tender, so the online gaming license tender in this case, and you will see this information here. Please note that we added this Partecipa button, which is not currently activated because, of course, this will appear starting from the opening of the tender. So starting from the 31st of March, you will be able to start filing the application by clicking Partecipa. So for explanatory purpose, we will try to go to imagine, to figure out that this Partecipa button is already open, and we will click on it. So you can let's do the basic case. You will start a new procedure. By the way, an important information. I will just go back. There is only the Italian version of the Consip portal tenders, let's say. So you will have to be familiar with Italian. So in order to start a new procedure, you will have to click Avvia nuova procedura, and you have to qualify yourself either as a legal representative or as an attorney or as economic operator, sorry. The system will automatically recognize your fiscal code and import it. We highly recommend you either qualify yourself as legal representative or as a procuratore, because you can, in a later stage, insert the information concerning the operator running in tender. Whereas it's not possible, or it's a little bit more complicated to insert the compilers. So just for the sake of completeness, if someone from your company has already started the procedure, you will instead log in and partecipa tramite PIN, which you will insert. I will explain in a minute what the PIN is and how you can find it. So once you have qualified yourself, let's say as a legal representative or an operator, you will immediately appear as active. That's why, because you already registered inside the portal. So you can then add further compilers. You will have to insert the fiscal code of these further compilers, and they will appear as inactive until they will personally register inside the Consip portal. In this page, you will also find the PIN, which is important to communicate to the further compilers, because through this, they will be able to enter inside the open, let's say, draft of the final application. Another difference is that only legal representatives and attorneys will receive any tender-related communication and will be entitled to seek clarification or raise questions. Okay, we can move on. The further stages, I will recap very in brief the further stages, because they are quite easy apart from what I will explain in detail. So the following stage, as soon as you have qualified yourself as a legal representative or as an operator, you have other further compilers, etc., you will need to select and flag the form through which the operator will participate in tender, and of course provide the information concerning the operator. So that's why I highly recommend you before not qualifying yourself as an operator in the first stage. So you can run the tender either by a consortium form, a network of companies, a group of companies, etc. So we'll have to flag the relevant option and provide the information thereof. All the documents regarding the corporate documentation will have to be inserted inside the administrative envelope. Regarding the lot, the upcoming stage is to choose the lot, but in the online gaming license tender has only one lot. So you need to flag this one and you are done with this. Then you have to upload all the administrative, economic and technical documentation in the relevant envelopes. I will come back to you to provide you with some more information concerning this, but I want to explain with what has to be uploaded, because my colleague Maria Letizia already debriefed about this. Then the last task concerns the recap and the submission of the offer. Please know that please be aware that the Consip portal is very intelligent and recognizes if something has not been properly flagged or selected and prevents you from accessing to the upcoming stage if something has not, of course, properly flagged or uploaded. For example, if some documents have not been digitally executed. I will focus only on how to handle the documents to be uploaded inside the portal by providing you some very, very practical tips. So pay really, really much attention to this. So the templates can be downloaded from the Consip portal, filled in from your laptop, and digitally executed with a digital signature that you already have, considering that you have had made sure you got it before starting the process. You will have to then upload the documents inside the Consip portal, choosing the corresponding name, let's say, of the file you are attaching. So, for example, if you are attaching the application tender request, you will have to choose domanda di partecipazione. If the document is not listed, you will choose altro and specify it in the relevant section. Then, before this, you have to validate the document you have enclosed so you can progress. This works for every document you need to enclose inside the relevant envelope. Then, second tip, make sure that the file extension and the type of signature or digital signature, either PADS or CADS, match with the instruction provided by the ADM tender regulation. In fact, the ADM tender regulation sets for the format, the file extension, for example, XML, PDF, etc., or if the document has to be executed with CADS or CADS form, of course, digitally. Then, as I was saying before, the Consip portal recognizes if you have correctly digitally executed a document. So if you didn't, the system will automatically mark such document as unexecuted. Last two important need to know information. Pending the time windows for filing your application, you may even always modify the information included in your draft application, already submitted an application, withdrawn, and started afresh. Of course, I repeat this because it's very important. You can do these two things only from March 31st to May 30 at 5 p.m. when the tender is open. As soon as the tender closes, you are not enabled to amend anything from the application you submitted, or you cannot submit an application if you run out of time. So I hope you will find this, I'm sure you will find these tips very useful. But considering I'm going to be very, very good today, I will provide you some further more pro bono tips to conclude. So make sure you choose wisely and timely your IT equipment so that all applicants or compilers you decide to appoint for this purpose have good tools and an Italian fiscal code. Then be sure you register inside the Consip portal as soon as possible, and you can start doing it also today. If you, of course, have your Italian fiscal code and the digital equipment. And last but not least, be sure that the team tasked with the compilation of the online gaming license application is familiar enough with Italian and has a good grasp of the public standard rules in general and on how to handle on the Consip portal. Thanks, and I hope you will use the tips I provided you. And now I will, I'm happy to introduce my colleague Donna Bugelli from the Malta offices, who will debrief about project management in securing a gaming license. So Donna, the floor is up to you now. Thank you.
Thank you, Valentina, for the introduction and information on the Consip portal. I will go on and explain on the project management mechanism that we adopt in assisting clients with their license application in various jurisdictions, but also the mechanism that we'll be employing in Italy for license applications. As we know, whenever there is a license application to be submitted to a regulatory authority, various documentation and information would need to be provided. As we've seen with a number of licenses around the world, and specifically having been explained by my colleagues Letizia and Valentina, there is quite a few documentation that we need to provide. And in order to achieve this successfully, we make sure that we assist our clients in managing their license application with the full knowledge of what the regulator would expect from operators applying for such license. We know that licenses have become more complex, the regulatory requirements have likewise increased, and in order to make sure that all stakeholders involved, and these range from ultimate beneficial owners, different departments within the organization, these being the technical people, finance, legal, compliance, are fully aware of the responsibilities that they carry. Not having a robust management system increases the risk of delays for a license application, there not being clarity as to the next steps, and we make sure that with the license concession coming up, we prepare our clients sufficiently for then a successful application and licensing thereafter. We achieve this, and the role that we play in managing a license application would normally involve a number of steps. It is crucial that we plan and organize all the relevant stakeholders. We map out all the requirements for them with the knowledge of the laws and compliance requirements that would be required of them. These would also include the responsible gaming, AML, or technical requirements, which will further be elaborated on by Chevron. These be clear upfront so we can elaborate and start working towards successful submission. This would naturally manage the risk that there might be in not meeting certain requirements. Having a clear understanding from day one before we start working on a license application drastically reduces the risk of not being able to submit a license application. We do use documentation and compliance tracking mechanism throughout the process to lead us to an application submission. We would work alongside all our operators in defining the clear milestones that would need to be achieved. And this is not only in the collection of documentation, but any audits or any technical changes that would need to be implemented in accordance with the laws of the jurisdiction that we're applying for, in this case, specifically the Italian regulator. We would make sure that all responsibilities are duly assigned, both internally and externally, to ascertain that individual stakeholders are aware of their deliverables and the timelines within which those deliverables need to be met. This would be accompanied by regular check-ins and reportings to the operator, to stakeholders, to management, to ascertain that we are on the right track to have a successful application duly submitted. The key of the way we approach licenses are a multitude of benefits. The simplest would be a faster licensing approval time frames. We make sure that our applications and our submissions are fully up to date with what the regulator and the respective laws of the jurisdiction, in this case Italy, are requiring operators to abide by. So be it policy, be it technical requirements, or any other deliverable is fully implemented, and the operator would be ready to operate within that market. Naturally, this would bring to a reduced risk of regulatory rejections. With our knowledge and our expertise, our submissions would help the operator to ascertain that they are fully compliant or in their way to be fully compliant with those requirements. Whilst this might be seen as an expensive cost, it actually reduces, and there is a cost-saving mechanism, because naturally there are no need for resubmissions or anything being missed out in the application process. There is also an improved way that in relation to the communication with the regulators, in relation to stakeholders, and the communication flow with all parties involved, makes sure that the way we approach licenses would be to the benefit of the operator. And this is why we uphold that a legal project management is fully implemented within any licensing process, as well as the one that we are discussing today, so the Italian concession and Italian licensing that operators will be going for. I thank you for your time today. I'll pass on the discussion to our partners at Chevron, who will be discussing the technical requirements more in detail for this license application.
Thank you, Donna. Hello and welcome to the compliance part of the webinar. Thank you, WH, and thank you, Sigma, for inviting us. My name is Jochen Biewer. I'm the CEO of the Chevron Group. We are a compliance consultancy and audit firm. Today with me is Florian Hahn, my colleague, and Gatti, the CEO of T2 Business. We're going to speak about the different ISO standards, the behavioral predictive analytics, responsible gambling training, and the complex data exchange with the ADM. This is an overview of the required ISO standard certifications according to the license tender. The first one is the ISO 9001 on quality management, and the ISO 26000 on responsible gambling, the ISO 27001 on information security, and the PDR 125 on gender equality. All these ISO standards are based on management systems, which can be certified at a later stage. Within 10 weeks, it is very unlikely that it's possible to certify the standards. So our general approach is here that we set up a management system, and then when the management system is ready, we perform an audit according to the ISO 9011, and we are auditing the completeness of the policies and the measures. In regards to the 27001, it might be possible in the time frame to develop an ISMS, but the certification is even more unlikely because the whole process takes normally up to 1 year. There are even more certifications needed. It's about the technical infrastructure, the environmental sustainability. Here, an existing certification after the ISO 14001 or 50001 can be used, but as far as we understand, it's also possible to receive a certification by an independent third party. Then the innovative ways how you organize your work, and there is an additional reporting requirement according to the point 7.3.1.2. The reporting requirement depends on the size of your business and if the company is based in Italy or outside of Italy. We have much more slides with more details, and we are more than happy to share these slides with you after the webinar. Please send us an email, and we're going to supply you with the slides, and are also more than happy to answer all questions in regards to the ISO standards. My next topic is the requirement to integrate a behavior predictive analytics tool. We first start with the legal requirements. So there is a requirement to implement the tool, to implement risk indicators, to identify the behavior, and to implement risk scores. And based on these risk scores, gambling restriction measures would be activated, and there need to be an overall behavioral analytics of the player behavior. Here we see the data you would implement, the indicators, the account information, for example, the age, regulatory limits, player status and restriction, payment transaction, anti-betting and gaming transactions. Here you see examples of the indicators, or also called triggers, which are backed by science and research. And here you see a practical implementation of these triggers in Power Comply. And here you see the risk score on which the activation of problematic gambling behavior measures would be activated. I hand now over to my colleague, Florian. Florian, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Jochen. Now we're coming to the responsible gambling trainings. Let me quickly share my screen to continue the presentation. Okay. As stated in the administrative regulations 731, compliance trainings for responsible gambling disclosure and pathological gambling preventions are required for the contact call center operators to fulfill the regulatory requirements for operators in Italy. And for this, we are offering a training solution in cooperation with our partners from WH Partners and Chevron Academy. So together we're offering high quality trainings for the Italian market. And we do this through different delivery methods, so different formats where we can train employees of the companies. So for example, for call center employees with actual contact to the player, we provide real classroom trainings to maximize the learning effect. And on the other hand, for management and back office, we provide blended e-learnings and trainings where we mix them. So this is a combination of e-learnings and webinars for maximum flexibility. So you can do this from wherever you are and whatever time you want. And for the topics we offer, there is for the gambling operators, we recommend the responsible gambling and player protection trainings, data protection and anti-money laundering trainings according to the decree number 231 2007. And in addition to that, we're also offering trainings in regard to security awareness after ISO 27001, and also diversity management according to the UNI PDR 125 2022, and also anti-bribery and corruption trainings. So next, I'm going to show you some screenshots of how the trainings will work. So here you see an overview of a course, of a player protection course for Italy, where you have some general information about the course, and on the left-hand side you see the different modules with different topics, and you can see the progress that you made in this training, and at the end you get a certificate after you pass the training, and a certificate would look like this. So this is a digital certificate that is that a participant receives after a successful completion, and this is digitally signed, so it has a unique identifier number that can be checked for validity, and so you can organize the trainings. You see the expiry dates of the certificates, so you can manage that your workforce has always valid certificates to work. And so much for the trainings part. Thank you very much. Now I will hand over to Marco Gatti from Key to Business.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Jochen. Thank Florian. Today we have the pleasure to share our knowledge, our experience in Italian technical compliance. It's a huge topic. We picked just a few important topic just to provide an overview about what means be technically compliant with ADM and the Italian rules. First of all, we will talk about the tech protocols that ADM want to be implemented in order to be compliant, and then we will go through the betting workflow management, casino management, and the new problem gamblers policy. So the protocols are the technical language that ADM want to be implemented in order to communicate with SOGEI. SOGEI is the technical organizations that is in charge for behalf of ADM to manage all the communication. Every part of bookmaker game platform can communicate with SOGEI using their own protocol. For example, starting from game account management, we have the PACG protocol. That means that every transaction that happens on the platform, every login, every wallet movement, every bonus that can be credited on the wallet, and every change of player account status has to be communicated with to ADM. It is important that is not the only thing that is mandatory, because a lot of requirements from user experience side are in charge, but from the technical point of view, this is the protocol that tell to ADM what is happening on the platform. All the communication are protected via VPN, and from the operational part, the betting part of the platform use the PSQF protocol to communicate everything is happening about betting. PSV is in charge for everything affect on virtual events, and PGDA is the protocol that manage the communication related to skill games, poker, casino, and something like that. Let's talk a bit more specifically about betting specification. It's important to say that ADM and SOGEI put available from every bookmaker a reserved area, a back office, in which the bookmaker can manage all the entity that want to manage. All the entity are in this back office. Sports are named disciplina, tournaments, manifestazione, market, and the outcomes. It's important to say that if a bookmaker want to create his own market templates, has to create a process, has to send for approval to ADM using a process that is named asseverazione. Everything is managed by back office statically, but the problem comes when the operation starts, because every entity in database of ADM has its own identification, and every element that is communicated from the game platform to ADM using PSQF has to use those identifiers. And sometimes when customers are working with platform in a multi-country environment, this can be a problem. In particular, when we have dynamic markets, for example, scorer and so on. So what we did in the past, what we offer together with Chevron to our customer, is a black box that simplify a lot all the complexity of the PSQF, is in charge for map all the entity from the game platform and the ADM database, and automatically do a lot of automation. For example, send to ADM following the rules that ADM want to, in order to be compliant, the event creation, for example. So retrieve from the database of the platform all the events that has to be communicated to ADM, and send to ADM the notification that the event is want to be in the offer, and collect the identifiers of this event from ADM, and map all of these entities the real complexity in order to manage correctly Italian sport bettings. Later, we have another important topic. This is the casino. Casino, skill games, and everything affect the PGDA protocol. In the new tender, the big news is that the ADM is saying the game providers want to create logical separate environment for their games for each bookmaker that is integrated. In Italy, the game providers has not license, but they need to certify the game. For example, a slot, every game is certified. The bookmaker has to certify the integration with this game. And in the new rules, the news is that every single game is integrated in the platform has to be submitted for the certification. So this most probably will impact over the time to market from each game, and the integration from the bookmaker and the game provider. Another important topic that Jochen and other colleagues were talking about is a responsible game area. There are new requirements in user experience for responsible game. The user must have a responsible game area when logging into the platform, and the feature for self-exclude himself from gambling when he feels that he's not in control, is not comfortable. He can click a button and self-exclude from gambling using PACG protocol. And the self-exclusion can regard a specific product or a sub-product. Another important feature is the self-limitation. Of course, is already present in the old regulation, but now the new rules expect that the self-limitation are not only about the deposit, but affect the session time, the wager, and the money lose. And the bookmaker is mandatory, has to create the default value for people, and this value are more restricted for people from 80 to 24 years. So this is an important limitation about the rules and the important things that you have to know in order to be compliant with the user experience expected in Italy. Another important topic is the problem gamblers management. It's now user alert are introduced in these new rules. So the system, depending on the player behavior, habits, age, gender, and so on, has to send an alert to the user when session time exceeds some threshold. The alert does not lock the betting, the session of the ticket about the user, but the bookmaker may be sure that the alert is shown to the user, and the user click on the OK, confirm, I want to continue. Another important topic regard the predictive behavioral analysis tool. the ADM wanted that the bookmaker in their policy paper specify how he identify possible problem gamblers, how the rank is applied to the user. For example, with machine learning algorithm or other more deterministic rules. And like my colleague was saying before, it's important that the bookmaker highlight how and create a new channel and promote a new channel to contact the support in order and make sure the operators has this knowledge to manage problem gambler that eventually call the call center. Another important topic is this dissemination. The bookmaker has to plan to disseminate responsible gambling information in their market. There are a lot of other information that affect the technical compliance. Please feel free to contact to make a question, and we will happy to answer.
Okay, thank you, Marco. It's been a very interesting discussion, conversation. Thank you, everyone else, for having shared with us lots of precious, valuable information about this license tender. I would like, in thanking all viewers for having had the patience to stay with us up until now, I would like to say a few final words about the effort that we as a firm, together with our partners at Chevron, we have tried to make in connection with this upcoming tender. We thought that the best way to deal with it is exactly what you have seen today, which is putting together a special unit, I would call it, a team of people, not just, specialist lawyers like myself, but also consultants and technical people that can be part of the same team. This is really a teamwork. I have been weathering, this is going to be my 5th licensing round, and I have been weathering lots of applications over these past many years. And what I can tell you for sure, this license tender is one of its own. It's a new level of the whole licensing process. It will require a dedicated team. It will require dedicated efforts, people that know where to look, what to look for, etc., etc. And of course, our firm, Chevron and Marco Gatti with them, we are there to assist if, as and when your teams should start going about this big effort, which is only 2 months away from now. The filing deadline will lapse at the end of May. So you may think that it's plenty of time. Well, guess what? It is not. You should get if you plan to come to Italy, you should get cracking fairly soon. My very final thank you goes to the Sigma guys who have been working with us to deliver this webinar to the industry. Working with Sigma has always been a big pleasure. WH has a special relationship with them in terms of having partnered up at many prior events. It's always a big pleasure. They are highly professional, and we hope that also with their help, we will have managed to bring to the industry a tool that can be a good reference for what's going to happen in a few weeks' time. Thank you very much, and have a very good rest of the day.